So they released the most underwhelming teaser for the new Doom.
Yeah.
And by they, I mean Bethesda. We literally...
It's like 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I mean, do you consider it underwhelming, or you just consider it just so short that you just? I saw it and I just can't really feel. I wasn't underwhelmed or overwhelmed or anything. I didn't feel much emotion at all. I was like, well, that's there.
Reveal an 11-second teaser trailer that shows 1 second of anything.
I was gonna say it was only 11 seconds because they had like the Peggy beforehand, and then they had the logo.
Yeah,
for a
they
long
might as well
time.
have called it an animated screenshot. I mean, that's really more. It was like first Doom screenshot that happens to move.
It would be really fun to take other trailers and condense them down to just like 1 second of footage.
I like that idea. With the micro trailers. Yeah, it's like that's one of those instances where if they're going to be that stingy with assets, then just put out an image. That works fine.
But nonetheless,
I wonder if they'll do more drops though, right? I wonder if they'll do more and then they'll piece together into one big thing before E3 or something like that.
It's like frames, just gradually, like you get a little more motion of a little skeleton guy every time. Yeah,
I like that.
All right, I'm good with that.
I mean, I think the game, like the footage they did at QuakeCon, everyone really liked. It was super well received, and I know like those 2 seconds, I'm like, that looks like Doom in a positive way. Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm interested to see it. I'm surprised. Like that's like crazy that they still haven't. They showed like a lot of footage at QuakeCon that still isn't out there at all.
Yeah.
And that never happens in 2014 or 2015. What years?
Did you see it, Andrew?
No, I was.
No,
I
wouldn't know if you're there or not.
But I wasn't at the part.
At that part, I can't about
We
that.
haven't seen a whole lot from Bethesda recently, so I mean, this E3 should be pretty big with them, especially because they're doing a whole press conference.
Yeah, they're going to show some stuff off. It looks like from what we saw here today, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I think it was Jeremy Parrish said once that the 3 video games your grandma's heard of are Pac-Man, Mario, and Doom. And this is a big deal. This is gaming royalty. I mean, if you've never read Masters of Doom, it's one of the best books on video game culture that's been written thus far. I really recommend you do. It's a fascinating story, but it changed our industry in fundamental ways. Changed what we thought computers were capable of. Changed what we thought game design studios should be capable of. Laid the groundwork for everything from Oculus to the collapse of Ion Storm. It's a really big deal. So all the stuff around the game is really interesting, and Doom itself and Doom 2 as well are game design masterpieces. They're some of the finest video games I've ever played in a lifetime of enjoying the hobby.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing that Mario did, but with guns and Satan.
Yeah, exactly.
Heavy metal and shooting guys in the face.
There's a little bit of Satan in Mario.
Oh, where was the Satan in Mario?
I mean, it's a lot of red, right?
You got to play Doctor.
That's right.
Going into dark tubes and things like that. I mean, I think, come on.
Yeah, you go fight the guy with the horns at the end. He's in a place full of fire.
Okay, that works out. Yeah, absolutely.
Your Dark Lord is in another castle.
Miyamoto did make a game with Satan in it. Devil World's got Satan in it. Like that's a Miyamoto game.
Okay.
Yeah.
He made Popeye too, didn't he?
You ever played Devil World?
Satanist games.
No. Really, Devil World is like you versus Satan. It's like Pac-Man versus Satan.
Have you ever considered breakfastarianism?
I listen. I eat 6 meals a day, and 3 of them are breakfast. So yeah, I'm very Hobbit-like. Also fuzzy feet. The end. Let's talk about Doom.
Yeah, what makes Doom Doom? What is like Doom 3 came out and that was what 12 years in the making, something like that, and it was generally it was sort of good but also kind of underwhelming. It kind of missed the mark. It was kind of like any of the Mortal Kombat entries between 4 and 8, basically, you know?
It was a lot of that, what made that design so good years ago doesn't necessarily hold up these days, right? It's a lot of monster closets, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of, you can kind of tell where they're going to come out because when you round a corner, you kind of get a sense of, okay, there's something that's going to open up there and the creature's going to come out. Like, what do you guys want out of Doom? Like, if you were going to get a new Doom, like, what do you want to see?
What I want is what I think works so well in the original that's mostly lost to game design today. You said, can you go back to it? I don't know, but speed. What I love about Doom is speed, which does not translate well to a console controller. I mean, one of the reasons that shooters have become relatively slow and clutchy is because there's only so much you can do with analogs. Mice and keyboards are just faster. That doesn't make them better. This isn't some kind of a PC mastery thing. It's just different. And Doom harnessed that control mechanism better than anything else. I've played Doom on Xbox Live, for example, and it still plays pretty well. But that sense of speed is what I'd like to see. I'd like them to find a way that cross-platform make everything feel fast, responsive, twitchy, like you're in perfect control of what's happening. People talked about how the new Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was almost Quake-like in its speed. Almost Quake-like. I want something that reminds me of what it's like just to fly around a level, blazing weapons, good level design, lots of different places to go, non-linear paths. That's all works in
That's
Doom.
what I wonder about, with Doom. Like, Doom has traditionally been a pretty linear game, right? Are we going to see that same kind of design coming up in the new one? You bring up Quake, and that is really a game that I think about when I think about really fast shooter action. But that's all about the multiplayer, too, right? And playing against humans.
Yeah.
what we've seen out of Doom traditionally is this linear design. It is something that is very much going down a creepy hallway. Great atmosphere, great effects, things like that, right? I expect to see that out of Doom. But I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to mess too much with the formula, because then would it really be Doom? But then would that formula really work these days too?
Do you
right?
think of Doom as a linear game? Because I remember a lot of backtracking, a lot of key carding, a lot of finding secrets. Do you feel the Doom's still pretty linear?
I felt it was a really linear game. Although, yeah, you go back in the same level. I mean, it's still a very linear shooter in that you're very confined in one space.
There's definitely that, yeah. And you also mentioned the single player, but don't forget that Doom's the game that really introduced deathmatch to the masses. I mean, this is the game that the term was coined for Doom.
Yeah.
And for me, Doom was very much that. It was a game of blowing your friends away in a way that you'd never been able to do in a video game before. Whatever else they capture, I think that's going to be a vital part of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I grew up playing Doom on my friend's computer and later on my own computer when my mom would leave me alone unattended, you know. And it's got this kind of, I tied it to Mortal Kombat because it's got this same like almost archetypal, what do 13-year-olds think is really cool? And it's just
bloody heads,
chainsaws
on
and
sticks.
Satan and guts and just explosions and stuff like that. I mean, you've got the BFG. It's something kind of inherently just really, really stupid, but also really glorious. And it's I don't know. I hope they managed to recapture that, and I think the speed really ties in with that because it almost like for 3 they kind of almost drew more from a survival horror approach, whereas the original was like you were trying to survive and there was horror, but it was much more like just it was run and gun. You know?
Yeah, you could not shoot and use your flashlight at the same time in 3. That right there, that slowed the game down tremendously.
Really, too, for me, Doom is a lot about the iconic sound effects as well. So really thinking about sound design in this day and age. They always are able to create this really great atmosphere with those games, right? So I am really looking forward to seeing it at E3, just to see what it's out there. I have to say, my days of really liking linear shooters are kind of past me. I like bigger experiences now. I like something that maybe has a bit of a more mature story that I can get into. But I'm very curious to see how Doom is actually going to pan out. And like you're saying, like the tease today was it was neither underwhelming or overwhelming anything for me. I felt no emotion at all because I was like, okay, there's like a brief half-second glimpse of this creature.
There was a skeleton with guns. That's always a good thing. I can't think of a time that a skeleton with a gun has been a bad thing. Even Mr. Bones' little skeleton guy was okay. But yeah, do read Masters of Doom if you haven't. It's a wonderful, wonderful treatise on how video games got made and get made today.